This presentation will give helpful tools and ideas to show how we can create live and pre-recorded sensory work for audiences. The audience is very much central to the work that Christmas for Kids does, and therefore we need to think about how we develop our relationship with them over a digital platform. A great quote here from a sensory arts practitioner, Joanna Grace, who herself is on the autistic spectrum. She's a pioneer in working with sensory beings, and we highly recommend reading her books on creating sensory work and visiting her website, The Sensory Projects. It is important to know who you are creating the work for. Is this a regular group of students you'll be working with, or is this a one-off performance? Are you able to adapt to the needs of the audience? In terms of pre-recorded work, Christmas for Kids took elements from our live shows and translated them across the digital platform, so everyone, regardless of their needs, would be able to take something away. Will you need to send anything to the audience in advance, be it a resource pack, a sensory pack, or information to prepare them for the show? And how can we use the senses through this digital platform? You'll need to think about incorporating this in your planning. Preparation. Preparation is key. How can we learn more about the needs of our audience? If you've used some of these examples in live performance work, you could incorporate it into your digital work too. We often like to send a questionnaire to find out a little bit more about the audience we're working with. You could send a social story. Pictures can be sent. If you've communicated using PEC symbols, this can be incorporated into your digital work. And signing and Makaton is also translatable over the digital platform. There are resources that you can physically send out or email to your participants. Here's a preparation template. How we can learn a little bit more about the needs of the audience by asking some simple questions. Is there any specific terminology you would like the facilitator to use? What are the needs of the students? Are the students mobile? Are the students verbal? Do they have any triggers? What do they respond well to and enjoy? Connecting. How do we do this? Christmas for Kids digital show used a lot of music, singing, harmony and sound effects. Be sure to check your audio levels, especially when you are live streaming. We embraced light and changes in light, using a starry night, for example, alongside a light stimuli like a torch. Our backgrounds or vectors were colourful, bright and eye-catching, and so were our props. Sometimes students find it harder to connect with other people, especially if we're new to them. We've found using puppetry has always been a great connector. They play a huge role in our work. Props. Our audience was sent a digital resource pack which guided them through the show and gave them ideas for sensory props to use alongside the performance. Eye contact and direct address. It feels very important to break that fourth wall, or rather digital wall, and connect directly with the audience. So very often our actors looked directly down the barrel of the camera. You can also use drama games and exercises as icebreakers over Zoom. These can be adapted for verbal or non-verbal participants. We'll show you a little example of this later on. Here is a clip from our digital show, just to give you an example of the sort of techniques that we were using.
My name is Benson, and I'm the best one, and I'd really like to say
that I am Harry, and I'm the best one. It's nice to see you here today.
My name is
Maurice, and I'm the best one, and I want you all to know that I am
Boo! And I'm the best one.
And we hope you love our silly, smashing, happy, crazy show.
The resource pack. As mentioned earlier, an e-resource pack was sent to our audience with a link to the show. We used Vimeo as our platform. This contained a list of ideas for physical props, all of which could be sourced or made at home with little or no budget. Symbols appeared in the corner of our frame to cue the audience when they should use the props, and a how-to guide was provided in the pack for them to follow. We suggested other activities that teachers and carers could use to facilitate follow-on work after the show. Our resource pack is also available on this tutorial. Physical props. We made sure that these were sensory. Lights, sounds, texture, scent, and taste. Sourcing props. We recommend making life simple for yourselves and for your audience when it comes to sourcing props. Many household items have sensory uses, and homemade items can be a fun craft project to do in advance. For example, we gave our audience the option of making their own shakers using a water bottle and some rice. We gave more than one option or idea and stressed that these items were to enhance the work but not completely integral. So, here's your task. Find 5 items in the home that could be used as a resource to enhance your sensory work. Try using all 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and sound. Off you go. So, how did you do? Did you find your 5 items that you could incorporate into a resource pack? Well, I had a little run around and I found a light stimuli. So you could use something really simple like a torch. I'm very lucky, my little boy is a big fan of a disco light, so I found this. So that's quite fun to incorporate into your workshop or ask your audience to source on their resource pack. Sound. So I raided my cupboards. Bit of pasta in a jar. This is kind of twofold because you can use that also for touch as well. So that's quite a nice way to enhance any sort of storytelling workshops. Smell. I hit my herbs and I found some thyme. It's very strong, really nice smell. Herbs are really good, I find, for creating sensory moments because they are quite pungent, they're quite strong. Texture, so touch. I just grabbed a cushion, but actually it's got quite a nice pattern on it, which feels really nice, and you can rub it against someone's face, or it's just nice to touch. It could be the fur of an animal or something like that. So that's very exciting. And then taste. Taste is kind of a difficult one, and I think I use this more to do with things like hot and cold. So I just grabbed some ice cubes, and obviously that's also good for touch, but you can also taste it as well. And that is my 5 items. How did you do?